three members of the State Assembly, Assemblyman Eric Italiano, Assemblywoman Elizabeth Connolly, and Assemblyman Bob Stranieri. And in addition to that, the two senators, both senators who represent Staten Island, Senator Markey and Senator DiCarlo, have also voiced their support, as has Mark Green, the public advocate of the city of New York. And who am I missing? I'm sorry, Councilman O'Donovan, the only city council member so far who has come out in support of this plan. As a matter of fact, he was one of the very first people to sign this letter that Jim is standing next to behind me. This is a letter that we're going to be presenting to the mayor and the governor, if we can get a shot of that letter behind me. The other way. This is a letter to the mayor and governor asking them to use their influence on the MTA board to cut the express fare, to get express lanes, and use the savings essentially that come from this to go back to the public. So that's the letter. And this letter will be presented sometime in September to both the governor and to the mayor. And so far, 3 elected officials have actually signed this letter. They are Councilmember O'Donovan, Assemblyman Vitaliano, and Assemblywoman Connolly. But we're going to be reaching out to more of them as we go along.
Can we show the person holding it up? Ray, say hello.
Hi, Ray. Actually, Stu, if you have some of those elected officials now, we'd like to show some of that video.
Okay.
If you could do that. Stu, if you're ready, let me know. We do have comments from some elected officials. While Stu's getting that ready, let's go to another passenger. Jim, are you?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay.
They're ready.
Do it.
Okay, you are?
Lorraine Lahutta, and I ride the 5, 6, and 7 on Highland Boulevard. I'd like to underscore what was said before. I started in a job in Midtown Manhattan 8 years ago, and I could say that most of the time it took me an hour and 15 minutes. And this past winter, the average went up to 2 hours. So as time goes on, the same trip is taking longer and longer and longer. And I also want to underscore what Ron has said. He talked before about how expensive it was. And there are a lot of us who would like for the fare to be less, but for many of us, our time is even more valuable than our money. And I would rather have a commute that was half as long and even pay the same amount. It would be wonderful if we had half a fare, but it's really the time that's so precious. I do have one question about the proposal. You talked about an express lane on the Staten Island Expressway, but can we anticipate bus express lanes that begin in Brooklyn at the end of the Verrazano Bridge?
Good question. Okay.
Yes, I can answer that. Do you want to do that, John? Because you've been involved in this. Actually, I should mention that John Orcutt, who's the Associate Director of Tri-State Transportation Campaign, actually has been very active along with our union in meeting with the people in the police department, and he's much more active than we are in terms of overall planning. So can you tell us where we're at?
Well, there's the State Department of Transportation is trying to figure out how to rebuild the Gowanus Expressway right now. And part of their plan is to extend the Gowanus lane from the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel all the way down to the Verrazano. So you would essentially, if you could get that lane on the Staten Island Expressway, and you'd have to figure out what to do on the bridge, but you could have a continuous lane virtually to Manhattan.
And there are also plans, I should mention, right now. The state and city DOT have been busy at work trying to figure out a way to run buses over the upper level in the Staten Island bound lanes in the morning, so that we would have the entire 3 lanes in the upper level of the bridge just for buses. So that, combine that also with a proposed bus lane on Capadano Boulevard where there's a bicycle lane now. There's a proposal to make that a bus lane for 3 hours in the rush hour, which would move the buses that much more quickly in that area. So are we ready for the video? We're ready for the video.
Ready for the video.
This is this is a quick sampling of some elected officials and their positions on this proposal.
Absolutely worth pursuing, which is why I'm delighted to be the first citywide official to sign on to this very creative and important economic development idea of this pro-city union.
Generously agreed to sign.
Okay.
Green
ink.
This is Mark Green signing on to the plan.
Okay, this letter will be presented to the mayor and the governor shortly, and we want to thank you very much for joining us today.
Okay, that was Public Advocate Mark Green. We'll be hearing from some other elected officials later on. Audience members, anybody ready?
We have one more. Well, several more. Go ahead.
I'm Patricia Aquino Macri. He just mentioned, the gentleman here, that they're going to be starting work on the Gowanus. What is going to be happening to us in the express buses when they do start this work? I mean, everything else that we're talking about is in the future. This is coming up very, very quickly. And if we already have a 2-hour commute, what's going to happen when they start the construction?
Okay, well, that's one of the reasons.
Good question.
That's one of the reasons our union took a very long look and came up with this proposal. The Gowanus Expressway will be a disaster when the construction begins. And what we're doing, by the way, is not only helpful to Staten Island, but also to the people in Brooklyn and the people in Manhattan. We are trying to get these lanes put in immediately, and we think that piece by piece we're going to be able to accomplish that. We are meeting in the coming weeks with elected officials in Brooklyn as well as elected officials in Manhattan to tell them that it makes sense for them to support this, because as more and more Staten Islanders find it more convenient and quicker to get to work in Manhattan by bus and cheaper, more and more will leave their cars at home, and it will alleviate traffic problems throughout the entire city. We have somebody on line 4 who's been waiting a long time to get on. Yes, hi, you're live on the air.
Yes, my name is Rich D'Amico. What are they doing about the seating arrangement? It seems to be that when you wait for the bus, you never get a seat.
Okay.
Are they going to, like, improve the seating?
Okay. In terms of more seats?
Yes.
Okay, just hang on and we'll give you an answer.
Larry,
yes.
how many people stand
Yeah.
right now? Every day, 2? How many people stand? You won't get on the bus. You wait for the next one? Okay.
Okay. The Transit Authority is in the process. In September, they're going to be voting on buying larger buses. But larger buses are not enough. They need to have more buses. And part of what our campaign is about is working together with the people of Staten Island to get our fair share of buses here. Staten Island, for a long time, if you look at the history of the last 30 years, our neighborhoods have grown and expanded, and mass transit just froze in place. When they built all over Staten Island condominiums and so forth, they delivered the mail and they picked up the garbage, and all the government services were put in place except possibly education. That's another hot issue on the South Shore. But for some reason, they decided they didn't have to provide transportation to people on Staten Island. And the people on Staten Island are heavily taxed for transit, and we intend to go out and fight for our fair share of those dollars to provide better service.
In fact, transit got worse because traffic grew, and so the buses are sitting in traffic.
That's right. That's right. We have another audience member who would like to...
Yes, we're trying to get her in the light.
Okay. Join in.
Shed some light on this guest. Okay. You are?
Marie Bacascio. I just want to know if they increase the express bus, will it affect the regular city bus, fare?
If they increase the fare?
Will they increase the fare on the regular city bus?
If they decrease the fare.
No, if they, yeah.
No.
Will affect the...
No,
the
not at
city
all.
bus?
And an important part of our proposal is that we have found ways to save enough money to pay for the reduction in fare. And I guess the best way we can put this is we would challenge the MTA and the governor and mayor to sit down with us, go over the numbers, and we intend to bring in some experts, such as people from Tri-State, other organizations, as well as urban planners, and just figure out how much money they save and return the savings to the public. And if it's $1.98, then cut the fare $1.98, but don't drive up the deficit by doing this. That's our proposal.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We have a bus driver in the audience. Gee, what a surprise. You are?
Rick Spinelli from Castleton Depot. Kind of the other side of the coin here. Most of the people here tonight are express passengers. As a bus driver, I think I speak for most of the other bus drivers in reference to the express lanes in the morning and having more buses out there to accommodate more people, make our job a lot easier, will make a lot of people happy. We'll have happy faces, and everybody will just be smiling, because one of the things that excites me the most is when we get our people to work on time, and they do have those happy faces leaving the bus in the morning, and they do say, hey, have a great day, instead of ruh, 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 ruh.
Who says ruh, 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 ruh? And as he was speaking, if they're willing to do it again, they were both smiling. Why?
Because we love it when our bus drivers are as friendly as he is.
The day start and end very
It
nicely.
makes him happy that we're happy. It also makes us happy when he's happy.
There you go.
Wow. Now,
I thought all bus drivers were happy. I don't know.
I guess,
All the ones I know are.
I guess the message to the governor and mayor is they can make everybody happy on Staten Island if they want to. We'd like to go for a second to Elizabeth Connolly, if we're ready. This is Assemblywoman Elizabeth Connolly and her position on this proposal. Are we ready? We're not ready. Well, while we're getting ready, let me take a quick call